I don't need to tell anyone who's listening that many Americans have decided to retreat from public life and politics into close-knit circles of families and friends. They've decided that politics and public life doesn't work for them, it doesn't work for their communities, and in many cases it's no longer working for the country. But as I travel across the country and listen to Americans talk about their hopes and dreams, their fears and concerns, what I hear over and over again is a deep yearning among people, a yearning to come out from their homes and to reconnect with one another, a yearning to be part of something larger than just themselves, a yearning to make a difference in their communities and in the life of this country. The problem is this: as you go into communities, you find lots of organizations that are doing great work. Some people would even say God's work in helping communities move forward. The dilemma is that those organizations are often working in small niches. There aren't very many organizations in our communities that cross boundaries, that help to incubate new ideas, that help us to reach out across dividing lines, that help bring people together again like we need to do in so many communities. Public broadcasting, public television, and public radio is one of the last boundary-spanning organizations we have left in our communities. They're one of the last organizations that still have a deep reservoir of trust and credibility as seen by people in those communities. And so this initiative has two essential goals when all is said and done. One is this: how can public broadcasting take the credibility, the authenticity, the reservoir of goodwill that it has, and to do its work in ways that helps to strengthen the civic health of our communities? That's goal number one. Goal number two is how can public broadcasting, as it's doing that work, deepen its local significance in the communities in which it operates? How can it become increasingly relevant to people in their lives? Or put another way, how can public radio and public television become essential local organizations, essential in people's lives? We're working with a dozen public radio and public television stations over the next 2 years to innovate. Essentially, we've created an innovation incubator to determine how these stations can examine their work, and importantly, how they can build off the good work that they're already doing to engage people in their communities. We'll work with them over these 2 years, and we will build off the good things they're doing. We'll build off the good work that the National Center for Outreach has already done. And our hope is that by the time that we're done with this initiative, that we'll have new models and new approaches that stations throughout the system can grab hold of and make their own, which leads me to another important point. We don't believe in this work that there's a one-size-fits-all approach to improving civic health and to deepening the local significance of public radio and public television stations. And so our hope is that this work will be calibrated so that each station can figure out its own pathway, given its own unique circumstances and challenges in its community.